Hi everyone, I'm Di. Thanks for joining me. Christmas is nearly upon us. It is the 21st of December today, and my family and I are celebrating our Christmas tomorrow. Now the reason for that is that we have some of the members of the family who will be travelling interstate to be with their in-laws for Christmas. They do it every second year, 1 year with us, 1 year with them. So this is the year that they're going to be away, so we just have our Christmas early. So it means while they're away, the rest of us will get together probably and have another little Christmas celebration. But our big one is tomorrow. Now, having said that, we always have trifle and pavlova for Christmas. So I've already put up a trifle video, and I will put the link to it in the description of this video. So that's sort of on its way. We can make that ahead of time, which is great. The pavlova, I always make the night before. So it's 8:30. It's 8:30 p.m. And the reason for that is when you make a pavlova, you need to cook it very slowly in the oven over about an hour and a half, sometimes up to 2 hours. And then you turn the oven off and you do not open it, and you let that pavlova cool down with the oven. And then tomorrow morning, I'll get it out, put it somewhere safe until it's time to be decorated and served. So come along with me and learn how to make the perfect pavlova. Okay, now, firstly I need to say that I am making 2 pavlovas. And the reason for that, we only need one for the family, but I have someone who is lactose intolerant. So I have got some lactose-free cream that I'm going to be using on theirs. Now, previously when I've used lactose-free cream, it never really whipped up properly. So it wasn't really good, but they do now have lactose-free cream, which is suitable for whipping. But I've never used it before, so I'm not taking any chances. So I'm going to have one with ordinary cream on it, and then I'm going to make a smaller one for Simon, my son-in-law, and he can take that away with him afterwards, because no one else needs to have the lactose-free here. So you'll see me making 2. So I've got the recipe, and I'm going to times it by 1.5. So you'll see the recipe in the description will be different to actually the quantities that I'm using in this. Now the first thing you need to do is to get a large bowl, either glass or a stainless steel bowl. Don't use plastic for this. And the reason is that if there is any sort of grease or anything, oil that you may have had in the bowl, and it hasn't been absolutely thoroughly cleaned, your egg whites won't whip up properly. So even though I got this out of the cupboard and I knew that it was clean, I always use hot soapy water and I wash it and dry it again, because I don't want to fail because I haven't done that one step. So I've done that already, so I'll just put that to the side. Now I've got some egg whites here. All up I'm going to need 9 egg whites. Here I've got 4 egg whites. These I got out of the freezer a little bit earlier. I'll often use egg yolk to make custard, and I have the whites left over. They freeze very well. You can put them in the fridge for about 6 months, in the freezer, and when you get them out of the freezer, just bring them to room temperature and they're fine. So I've got 4 there already, so I need 9 altogether. I'll need another 5. Now when you're separating your eggs, there's all different methods that people use. Some people use their hand, they put their hand in it. I don't use that method. What I actually do is crack it and do it into a bowl. Now that egg yolk just broke, so I'm going to stop there. I could have got more white out of that, but I couldn't risk that it might have been contaminated. Nothing went in there, so that's good. So that's 1. Now I do it into a bowl individually, each egg, because if I fail and I'm doing it over the big bowl with all of them in it and I get a little bit of egg yolk in it, then I've ruined the whole lot. So just being very careful here. That one's perfect. So So these egg yolks that I've got, they'll keep in the fridge for about a week. And I'll be using them. I could make some mayonnaise, some custard, hollandaise sauce. There's lots of things I could make with those. So these eggs are freshly boiled. Where am I up to? That's 3. But they don't seem very fresh because they're very runny. Usually very fresh eggs, the white is quite thick. That's 4. That's 5. So there's my 5 egg whites, and adding the other ones that I got out of the freezer, we now have 9 egg whites there. Okay, I'll just put these things away and then come back. Okay, the next thing we need to do is to whisk our eggs. Now we whisk them until they're fairly stiff. So you can see there the increase in volume, and you can see as I lift that, it makes peaks, which do flop over, but they do stay up in the bowl. So there you go. I left that on so you can see exactly how long I whipped that for. Now, I don't think I mentioned it, but I've lined 2 trays with some baking paper. They don't need to be round trays. I'm making it round. You can put it on a square tray, but then still make it round, so as long as they're lined. So I didn't put my oven on preheat. I'm just going to do that now. This cooks at a low temperature at about 120 to 130 degrees Celsius in a fan forced oven. So I'll just go and put that on now. Right, so the next thing we do after we've beaten our eggs after we've beaten our eggs is to add half our sugar. So I've got all the sugar measured out here. Actually some lumps in there. I'm just going to squish that with my hands. So I'm going to add half the sugar, and that doesn't have to be like measured to work out what's half. Just judge it by eye. I may have put a little bit more than half in there. Now we whisk it again until it's really stiff, shiny, silky, and it really holds the peaks. There we go, it's getting thicker. Now I'm just going to add the remaining sugar. Quite stiff now. Okay. Now we are going to add a few other ingredients. So we need vanilla essence, 1.5 teaspoons. White vinegar, 1.5 teaspoons. We need corn flour. We need 1 tablespoon. Okay, we just need to mix those in. Right, that's done. We will put our mixture onto our baking trays. I should have actually done the smaller one first. I'll do that, and then when I've taken out enough, then I know that the rest of it is for the big one. Okay, so when we're making it, we need to make something like a bird's nest so that we can put a lot of our filling in the centre, and we've got ridges on the outside. There we go. So that will be Simon's small one. If I've got too much mixture, I may actually add to that because it is rather small. Now, for people who aren't from Australia or New Zealand, there's a big rivalry between our two countries as to who invented the pavlova. They say that it was invented for Anna Pavlova, the ballerina. And it's claimed that Australia invented it, but the Kiwis claim it as their own. So I don't want to start a war over this, but being an Aussie, you can guess whose side I'm on. It makes for a bit of fun between us Aussies and the Kiwis. That's what you call someone from New Zealand. and it is all just light-hearted fun. Okay, trying to make a depression in the middle there, and I'm leaving room around the edge because this is going to expand like you wouldn't believe in the oven. So there we go, they are both ready for the oven. I'm going to pop them in there now. It has preheated, I just checked on it, and we're going to let it cook very slowly. If it starts to brown, which it shouldn't, it should only have very light golden colour to it. It should not go brown. That means your oven's too hot. You need to lower your oven. And once it's cooked, I have to leave it in the oven overnight without opening that oven to let any of the cold air in or the hot air escape. So I will come back tomorrow after I've opened the oven so that I can show you. Now, tomorrow I'm going to have all the family here. And there's a lot of us and we're noisy. So we may not video it, you may just see photos. Anyway, let's get it in the oven.